So guys, welcome back. We have the next speaker, and the topic is related to game design and production. So Ozhan, the stage is yours. Please begin.
Thank you very much, Alex. Hello, everyone. Welcome. In this session, I will talk about game design and production, and the content mostly covers hybrid casual and hyper casual mobile games. First, let me introduce myself. I've been designing and producing games for over 3 years. I also have more than 12 years of project and product management experience. On top of that, I play games more than 30 years. And let's see our content. We will have genre snapshot, trend analysis, game breakdown, ideation, design, production, testing, and final words. Let's start with the genre snapshot. We all know that hyper casual and hybrid casual genres are extremely competitive at the moment. It's quite hard to find new ideas or ideas that bring success. And the market is a bit saturated in terms of companies and in terms of games on the stores. If you type a name or a word in the store, you see multiple games already done about it. And which leads the hyper to hybrid transition, which means that since hyper casual is much more saturated than the hybrid casuals, there is a trend shifting from hyper to hybrid games. And if you wonder, like, hybrid games means games that both have elements including hyper games and casual or mid-core games, that they have much more playtime and much more retention because they have deep meta inside them. Also, profitability dropped a bit because of the recent changes about Apple's regulations, and also we have another regulation coming from the Google side as well. And I think partnerships will become very important to overcome those new regulations and will bring success to both parts, like the studios and the publishers, and also like service providers will need to come up with new ideas to overcome those obstacles, especially about the ads. Okay, let's start with trend analysis, like, which is the first and most important step for our ideations. We need to have a great knowledge about what's going on and what will come up next. So we have our ideations according to them. And it's really important to know the current trends, like in terms of mechanics, input, camera angles, themes, or subgenres. And there are two main methods for that. One of them is store analysis, and the other one is social media analysis. For hyper and hybrid casuals, of course, for casual and mid-core genres, analysis is completely different in terms of ideation or design part. We also have Intel tools, which provides us really good information if you check them from time to time to see what's going on. They usually have reports, like monthly reports, and also you can check them daily or weekly to see the shifts in the trends or like what's going on in the market. Okay, let's start with store trend analysis. As you know, we have two main stores, like Play Store and App Store. And usually we check the top 100 because it's the most successful games at that time when we check. But we need to check beyond 100 mark because we also need to see what's coming up for the next trends. Like if we always try to ideate according to current trends, we will probably fall behind the trends, and also we don't want to be the trend follower all the time and forecasting the trends ahead or creating trends themselves will be much more beneficial for us. Also, we have other stores which may not be very related to mobile part, but I advise you to check them as well for ideations and for general player behaviors. Those are Steam and Twitch. Steam is mostly about PC games, but we have already seen lots of variations that were modified to the hyper genre. Also, in Twitch, you will be able to see the recent trends or popular concepts, and you may want to ideate or just take some part of it and use it in your designs. And what we do after we make our analysis, so we check the stores, we have a couple games in our hands, and we need to break down them in terms of objectives, mechanics, input, and all other stuff. Some of them are not very important as others. Like you don't have to check the music or sounds in the beginning. Like you need to focus on the mechanics team and meta and monetization, like to see what's going on. But all in all, if you make such a breakdown like this, very detailed breakdown, and you may probably see a pattern in those games, like there is a design pattern in them that brought them success at that time in the stores. And the other analysis is social trends. We all know that hyper and hybrid casual games feed from those trends, and one of the most important one is TikTok, with over 1 billion monthly average user and infinite content in it. So we need to check TikTok trends very closely, and also YouTube, Instagram, Facebook. Those platforms also have lots of content in them, and most of the time they are aligned with each other. You see, if you see a trend on TikTok and YouTube at the same time, it's almost a guarantee for you to ideate about it and make your designs according to it. Twitter does not have much impact, but I also mentioned it here because sometimes things can go viral over Twitter as well. Also, especially last year, we saw some hits about TV and cinema trends, like the Squid Game or like other characters coming from those virality. If we find an idea from the social media trends, we have to gamify it somehow, because usually they don't come as a game itself. Sometimes you can find directly a game idea. For example, Squid Game TV series, it has lots of mini games inside it, and it was not so hard to adapt it into your designs. But most of the time, you will have to take the objective and theme from the trend, and then you have to find the best mechanic, best input, and some deep meta for it to be successful. Okay, so we have made our trend analysis, we have come up with some ideas, and what to do next. Of course, we have to check the existence of our ideas, whether they exist on the stores or not. And also, we have to try to avoid cloning. Like if there are some games, some ideas that are very close to ours, we need to think something else to be different. This is important because sometimes just stores will remove your account because of cloning, and also your marketing campaigns will not function because of the algorithms that are used to differentiate the videos from each other. And during ideation, the most important part is to core gameplay. So we need to focus on that first, and then we build on top of our idea. While doing that, we can completely go out of the box. Like couple years ago, there were like very strict rules and ideas about hyper and hybrid casual games, and recently we saw that a lot of them are broken, and lots of new ideas and lots of new subgenres, lots of new games emerged from those out of the box thinking. Like nobody would think mixing a puzzle game with some kind of idle mechanics, or like arcade idles, mixing both idles and arcades together. That's also a cool thing for the industry. What will you do after your ideas? Okay, you found a good idea and you prepare your pitch document, which should be actually one page if it's a hyper casual game. If you cannot like explain your idea in one page, then it shouldn't be hyper casual. For hybrid casuals and like other genres, of course, you may have longer idea documents, but for hyper casual games, I recommend only one page, half of it having some text about explaining what's going on, and half of it as visuals that will help us to understand the theme. Also, you will make your idea meetings or brainstorming with your team to make your idea even better. Like, because the more you brainstorm about it, the more unique ideas you may come up as well. And after that, you will have your pitch meeting, and you will show your ideas. And if it gets accepted, you will then try to design it and then produce it. Okay, after the ideation part, we have the design part, and of course you need the documentation for it. And like this is almost the same as the game breakdown. You can think it as engineering and reverse engineering. Design is engineering and breakdown is reverse engineering. So you will have the same elements in here, like the objectives, mechanics, input, and other elements as well. For hyper casuals, this document can be a bit shorter compared to other genres, because your game will be much more lightweight. But this doesn't mean that your game is bad or your idea is bad. It's only about your design. And most of the time, especially for your prototypes, you may need to discard some of these elements to be much more quicker and much more accurate in the beginning. And during your designs, it's always good to think about scalability. And when you design your game and your prototype, always think a couple steps ahead. Like if it gets good metrics and you will go for soft launch or global launch, what will happen in the next steps or next levels? Will you add some more meta to it, or if you will add some more mechanics, some more mini games? What will happen? You have to decide it at first. Also, your design should be something in between a prototype and a product. Like if you only design for the prototype, then you may have problems improving it later. If you design for a product, then the design would be too long to be prototype, or you will miss your trend, and it should be better to be in between. Also, you can use some strong references for your designs and use the power of working mechanics or working trends. Some meta elements could also help. And also, design meetings are really important. After ideation, this is the second meeting actually. And in design meetings, you can have ideas of your developers, artists, marketing talents, and even testers. They can contribute to your designs in general. And after ideation and design, we have production, and it's the next step in the pipeline. And it starts with prototyping. You will just make the first playable of your design and then see if it's easy to play or if it's fun to play. And then maybe you can make some tweaks onto it to make it better. Also, you have to prototype really fast, especially if you are following a trend or having a competition to be in the first published on the store. If it's something like Squid Game or some virality. And especially production for hyper casual games is much more faster than the regular agile methodology used for software development, because usually you have only 1 week, maybe sometimes less, for your prototype to be ready and start your marketing test. But this doesn't mean that you completely disregard all of the Scrum methodology or your Kanban boards. Of course, you get benefits from using Scrum framework. You make your daily meetings and make some documentations after your sprints. But this is a much more faster and shorter version compared to regular agile, because in regular agile methodology, it's usually one sprint is 2 weeks, and here it's 1 week. And also, what do we mean by agility? It's being ready to changes, during your prototypes or during your tests. If you see something's wrong or you come up with a better idea, you need to make small changes to your prototypes and then test it accordingly, which brings us the iterations. It's like a continuous process. It's not like you make the prototype and then just continue your design and build on top of it. You need to make many iterations in terms of data you collected from the players or from testers, and then make changes according to that, which brings us the A/B tests, and also you need to make some A/B